It's a 2008 GTR R35 built by Alpha Logic, Dubai. At about 11:30, and I saw my car roll out of the bay. So I'm aiming to reach Taneja by about 3 o'clock, and they tell me this event's going to shut at 5:30.
So, hello and welcome to another episode of Horsepower Cartel. Today, we have a special guest, Santosh Parab and Imran Majid.
It's opposite day.
Obviously, myself, Ormasi Gantoria. Thank you.
Is that how you say your last name?
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
I thought Singapore.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, today we're going to talk about the most awaited car story, about a very special car. Most of you guys know. It belongs to a very dear friend, Mr. Imran. And that is the Alpha Logic, what is it, 2008?
It's a 2008 GTR R35 built by Alpha Logic, Dubai. It's got an AMS 1200 package on it, the Alpha 1200. It's been a long chase, it's been a long watch. And weirdly, three of us have been tracking this car at different periods of time in life when we didn't even know each other. Yup, today we've managed to, alhamdulillah, get this car home, and we as a team are now progressing to take this car and really achieve a target with it that she's been built for.
Yeah.
So, yep, we're gonna take you down from 2008 to 2022 to the whole rundown, follow, chase, acquisition, and the build up of everything consecutively 2 nights before 2 different races. We've been at the peak of building her and performing with her. So, yep.
A lot of ups and downs.
Yep. So,
A lot more downs than ups, but
yeah,
for now.
for sure.
So, let's start with 2008, from when the car just came in. I'm sure I
Yeah.
think you've seen the
So-
car first, right?
So I finished school in 2004, started illegally drag racing in the night. We used to go out as groups of friends to various locations.
Before Mexico existed.
Yeah, totally before Mexico existed. So we used to go out and we used to find these shut down roads, or roads just being built, not opened up yet. We used to go with a group of friends, we used to race each other, and then we graduated to participating in the speed run, which happened consecutively from 2003, I think, or 2002 it started off. I witnessed my first one in 2005, and yeah, it went on. And
What did you participate with?
no, I was just watching back then.
Oh, spectator.
2005, I was a spectator. So yeah, in 2008, there was this whole buzz about the R35 being released in Japan, worldwide, and they called it the Godzilla again. Yep, we had one of the first ones to probably hit India. And I won't say one of the first ones, this was the first one that hit India and came straight to Bombay. Was owned by a very senior person who enjoyed racing a lot, loved cars, he was an enthusiast.
Love speed.
Yeah, he was more of a lover of speed, and he had built 2 cars back then. One was a VRS and one was this GTR. But yeah, it was the first time we saw a GTR here, and obviously I was in awe of it. My friend Nikhil and me used to drive around in the nights, and we spotted this car being unloaded and being driven into a house in Bandra. Then on, we used to keep driving by this house trying to get a glimpse of this car, and she barely came out on the roads, and we used to wonder what's happening with this car. Coming out about 2010 at one of the drag races, we saw this car, and wow, she'd upgraded to an exhaust and a carbon fiber bonnet. She had upgraded wheels. She looked really great, and she had more power, she sounded different, so we knew there's something built. And then we started hearing stories, and for us back then it was rumors of whether this car was really built in Dubai, was it built here, what's going on with this
You
car.
went missing for 2 years, right?
Yeah, this car wasn't seen for a while.
But what was this race that you're talking about?
It came to speed
2010,
run,
what is the
or
race?
it came to an event. I think it was speed run itself, or there was the other one that That, yeah, Amish and all hosted, back then I forget the name.
Palm Beach, no.
No, this was at Sitco itself. But yeah, it was another event that happened and we saw this car there and we were shocked because she came back after a year or two back on the scene. She sounded really different. People said, oh, she's a 10-second car and stuff like that. And the gentleman who owned it, he came there to have fun. He didn't come to prove a point. He didn't come to really smash a record or anything. He was just, as I said, he was a speed lover. So he got the car there, and when he got the car out, everyone was really fascinated. They did a few runs, but they never really launched the car back then. They used to, gradually take off, and then you'd suddenly see the car go like balls out and woof, gone. But the car never really back then hit a 10-second, and everyone was quizzed again that, oh, it's called the Alpha Build and it's built in Dubai, and why is it not performing?
So they were just doing rolling starts back then?
Yeah, they were doing, no, it used to be off the Christmas tree, but it was more like a gradual start off. It wasn't a launch. They'd start off like they were taking off from a signal. And everyone was quite quizzed as to, what's happening with this car. Then you didn't really see it out on the roads. It barely came out for a drive. The few times that I think Santosh probably saw it.
I saw it in 2013.
Yeah, and it used to move around with a car following it with fuel and stuff. Yeah, it used to go to the expressway. With fuel.
Black Swift.
And they used to need 97 octane, so they used to carry it around and stuff. Then, coming down to about 2015, 16, you started seeing this car a little more, but again, never at events, never setting any times or goals or anything.
This was the Valley Run in 15, 16?
It never came to anything.
It never came to a Valley Run.
I think 2012 was probably the last, or 2011 was probably the last event it came to.
Yeah, and post that you just see it once in a while.
I think it came to Parks once.
On the street here and there.
When I first saw this car, let me tell you, I saw the Swift tailgating the GTR. I was like, oh, what a like tailgating the GTR. Then people told me, oh, that's carrying the fuel. I remember getting onto Mexico Bridge, the Wally side. And once it got on, and I was behind it, I was in my car, I think I was in my Evo or something. And I was like, all right, let's see if he floors it. And I just remember seeing an aged man driving this car, just peacefully enjoying the car. And out of nowhere, like, he did the kick down, and the car didn't go anywhere. Suddenly, he just shot black smoke and just shot. Like, like one of those pullback cars, like when you're a kid. He just shot. And that car turned into a dot by the end of, like, in 10 seconds, it just turned into a dot. Like, that's how quickly it just disappeared.
It was a quick car even back then, no doubt. So, coming down to 2021, a dear friend of mine called me up and, told me that this car is not officially up on the market, but, we could get it and stuff. And I wasn't really sure, honestly, in 2021 whether I wanted to get into this market of a car, because I've been enjoying my modern classics and I really enjoy them, the E60, the CLS, the 211 my E46s. I've been enjoying all this, so for me, I didn't know whether I wanted to get into this full power pack performance supercar kind of league and start belting out on one of these cars. We got in touch with another friend of ours and we asked him if he wanted the car. So finally he came down, he saw the car, he liked it, they picked it up. They took it down south to Bangalore. It was there for about 3 or 4 months. And then this friend of mine called me up and asked me if I could service the car for him at Kickshift, and I was more than happy to do it for him. So he shipped the car down here. We got the car serviced, changed all the fluids. Car had barely done about 3,700 or 3,800 kilometers.
From the time of purchase?
From the time
Since
of purchase.
2008.
So that basically is what it reads on the Speedo. But I'll tell you what all this car went through in a bit. So coming down to when the car came down here for service, there was a kind of sound in the rear differential, in the LSD. When you reverse it or you turn the steering wheel completely to the right or left, she'd really crunch and click. And we thought there was something wrong with the car, but we changed all the fluids in the car. It was surprising that once the fluids were changed, the car drove like a dream. We used Cusco oil for the front and rear diff, and we used Motul for the gearbox, which I must tell you was a mistake on my car, not because of the oil brand or anything. When I tell you about the build, you'll know how I need different oil from any other regular GTR and how stuff works with my car. Yeah, so we got the car running. The car ran beautifully. I told my friend the car is beautiful. She's running well. There's no mechanical issues with the car and stuff. Then he asked me, he said, you know, you keep it with you in Bombay, and since it's MH registered car, it's from Bombay. If you can sell it off over there, sell it off, because I really can't daily drive this and use this kind of power. It's too much for me. So I was like, cool. And then I started driving the car out, obviously post the test drives after changing the liquids and all. Then I started taking her out for a drive. And we went out with a group of friends one night. And Santosh was there too. And we were in Mexico. There was another friend's GTR and stuff. And he was a little coy. He pulled up next to me and he was like, come, there's a 1200, right? There's a 1200, come, let's do a pull against each other. And I was like, fine, sure, let's give it the beans, because I've never really pushed the car that much and not against anyone. So we both slowed the car down, and surprisingly his 700 or 800 odd horsepower GTR actually flew by me. And I was shocked too. I was like foot down. I was like, whoops, what's happening? And I couldn't feel boost on the car. I couldn't feel any boost, anything. So I was like, okay, you know, there's got to sort something out. And I went home, I called homie up. And, you know, I was like, homie, I don't know what just happened on the link, but this car didn't really shoot, man, and I can't feel the boost, you know. They're like, cool, we'll figure it out. And then he's like, oh, change the map. We didn't even know how to change the map. So whoever I asked, other GTR owners, other tuners and stuff, they know, how do you change the map on this GTR? They used to tell me, oh, you've got to use these 3 combinations and do this. And nothing ever worked.
On the steering wheel.
Yeah. So I didn't find any changes. I didn't feel anything.
And this is when we couldn't get in touch with the Alpha boys.
Yeah, we couldn't get in touch with Alpha Logic. Like, we'd got the car to the workshop. This was even before we really bought the car. We were trying to get in touch with them. We didn't get a response first through Instagram and stuff. And we were cool about it. We were like, fine, cool. There are no errors on the car, mechanical issues. Let's just drive her and stuff. Then the next drive that we took her out to was the 26th Jan.
Nasik drive.
Nasik drive to Sula with the Supercar Club Garage and Throttle 97 that Landmark Mercedes hosted too. Yeah, we went for that drive, Hormaz and me in the GTR. Khushru was in the C63, Mikhail was in the CLS 63. Santosh was in his M3 with us. So we went out as a group of friends. We went out for this drive. This was Hormaz and my first like really long road trip in the car. We said, okay, you know, today we're gonna really bean it out. We're gonna really push the car, see it. We wanna feel the boost. And we're pushing the car in third end of fourth gear. We felt a little boost coming on and stuff. And we were pretty tickled, man. And we felt it was fast. And Hormaz on the way back just turned to me and said, you know,
until we were feeling the boost and we were feeling nice, until this on the side Khushru came and you just punch it and go by.
yeah.
I just look at Imran and like, bro, what the is this?
This is stock CC.
Yeah, the stock CC3 again used to pull by, and then Hormaz was telling me, bro, I really think this car's in valet mode and shit like that. And I was like, no, homie, I don't think it's valet mode. I think it just needs a tune or it's on a map. Something's going on, bro. So we came back from this drive and stuff. Rangam announced the night drags.
Yeah, night drag.
And we got really excited and we said, you know what, we're going to go to these night drags and stuff like that. And homie and me really wanted to like now start tickling the car because now we wanted power.
That also was on a home turf.
Yeah, you know, it was happening in Bombay at Pawan Hans. Everyone spoke about a race after 30 years. My dad and all was spoken about racing there. Being there, the city always knew about a race there. And 30 years later, there was a race there. I really wanted to go participate because I hadn't participated at drag for the last 2 or 3 years. And with this car, I really wanted to go. Not that I thought we'd go win or we'd really hit it like
At
a
least
great
know
time.
what the car is
Yeah,
all
we
about.
wanted to start knowing the car. We wanted to start getting some data on the car. We wanted to know what times it's capable of doing. What the hell's going on, you know? Yeah, homie and me one night, we were out and we thought that we'd now start setting the car up. And I started using the car pretty frequently every night, then trying to understand her, trying to do shit on her. One night I went out with Nikhil, like I went to Nikhil's house for dinner with Aaron. In a Marine Drive, we had these kids and they got really excited and they were like, you know, can you please do a pull? Can you please do a pull? I was like, sure, I'll do it. Aaron was like, no, don't do this, don't do this. Don't strain the car, don't be stupid. And I was juicing out that night. We did Marine Drive, we went to Nikhil's house, came back. Then I beamed her back to Bandra. And then I was at Aaron's house for a bit. I got back in the car and I drove home. And I drove really like coolly back home. I was doing like 40 or 50 probably, honestly, the whole way, listening to music, driving her easy. And when I parked her at home, I suddenly smelled like oil.
Yeah, burning oil.
Like burning gear oil, transmission oil, like clutch or something. And I just thought, oh, you know, maybe because I beamed her too much. Maybe one of the hoses have opened up or something like that. I just went in, I went to sleep, I didn't think anything of it. Or I actually thought it was even the brakes, I thought. You know, the brakes are hot. And the morning I woke up all ready to go to work. Sunil came in and he told me, oh, you know, there's like a whole load of red oil around the car and it's totally like rivered out. I was shocked, and for a second I thought, you know, this is some engine oil or something.
Yeah. That's when you frantically called, you were like, bro, we have a pool of oil.
So I called Hormaz and I was like, bro, we have a pool of oil. We have a pool of oil under the car. And my mind wasn't working because I didn't really think about it, whether it was transmission oil, it was engine oil, what it was, brake oil. So I panicked and I just left the car, I didn't put it on. I got Cammy to come by to the house. Hormaz came by. They jacked the car, opened the shields, went out of the car. The transfer case housing had a fracture on it and all the oil was still dripping from there. Homie and Cammy told me that. I was like, you know what, I've either bust my all-wheel drive system or my clutches or something and it's broken the case. Or it could even be my shaft or something. So we really panicked, and then I made a few calls to a few fellow workshop owners who are well versed with these cars and who've been doing a lot of these cars in our country. And I asked one of them that, you know, what should I do about this? He in fact brought it to my notice and he said, you've not got a regular GTR gearbox in your car. You've got a box built by Sheptrons, and, you know, I think the best thing to do is remove the whole transmission.
Yeah,
He said don't open it up and just ship it to Sheptrons and, you know, let them do the job. So I thought about it and I was like, okay, I'll send it to America and stuff. But there's this race coming up and I really want to drive it. There was no way this car was coming back or this car was getting done with if it was going to America.
That's when you finally got in touch with
So that's when I called you in the night, ate your head and told you that, bruh, it's either we send it to Sheptrons or we open it up here, take the risk, open it all up, see what's wrong with it and take a call. You gave me the confidence and Nikhil honestly gave me the confidence, and both you guys said, you know what, just open it and see what it is once.
Yeah, why not?
So we opened the transfer case and unfortunately there was a bolt in there that came off the TCO? No, the valve body.
Yeah, the valve body.
The valve body bolt came off. Two of them got loose and got stuck on top of my all-wheel drive unit and grazed the whole unit. And suddenly this bolt has snapped from there and hit the housing. And that's when it cracked, you know. We were certain that, okay, this is the reason. And then I was thinking of what to do. And I happened to call Moin Bhai up and tell him about my dilemma and ask him what I should do. And fortunately, he had just been at Dubai. He met the boys at Alpha Logic personally and stuff. And he told me, why are you stressing that? Just send your stuff to Alpha Logic and, you know, they'll help you out. They've built the car. Whether they've done it with Sheptrons or whoever, you send it to them and they'll help you out. Again, I had no one to talk to over there, and then Moin Bhai got me in touch with Malcolm there, and Malcolm was really cool and friendly. He asked me for pictures of everything and stuff. When he saw it all, he was like, you know, they generally sell billet bodies, you know, billet cases for these cars. Because I had the race and they can order a billet case for me in time.
Can you explain to yours at home what is billet? Because
so billet aluminium is basically really strong.
it's like forged.
Like forged aluminium. It's basically made out of one block and it's really strong. It can take a lot of torque. It can take the stress. take a lot of heat on it. He told me that he'd be kind enough to talk to his boss, Khalifa, and ask him if they could, sell me one of their stock cases that they had, what they've taken off from one of their drag cars, and if they could give it to me. Yeah, they were really happy to know that, I've bought this car and it's going to be going to an event and we're serious about doing stuff with it.
So they knew about this car?
They were the ones who built it. Yeah. So this car was built by them, Malcolm himself.
I mean, like, where the hell has it been?
Yeah, has built the car and stuff. He was down last in 2017 to do some work on it. And 17 to 21, they weren't doing anything on the car because of the lockdown and stuff. And the gentleman wasn't using the car. So yeah, they were really happy that I got in touch with them. And then there was an option to send this transfer case to Dubai, let them have a look at it, do it and get it back. But we didn't have time. So Hormaz and me decided to take the gearbox, fly down to Dubai with it and get it done. So when we packed it up, we got on a flight, we went to Dubai, we went to Alpha Logic the same night, handed it over to them. They alerted me that the reason why this has actually happened was because I was running the wrong transmission fluid.
Motul.
Motul. Now, Motul works in regular GTRs and stuff, but with this gearbox being billet gears and it's a totally worked on gear transmission.
So you took your transmission to?
No, I just took my transfer case with the all-wheel drive unit and my clutches. They informed me that, it's the wrong oil and they told me you're using Motul and stuff like that, and they were pretty right with just seeing a little bit of the oil. But I was relieved that, they were like really cool about it, and he was ready to give me back my transfer case with everything replaced. And
he just changed, I think, 5 clutches, am I right?
Yeah, he changed 5 clutches on it.
It has 5 clutches?
Yeah.
No,
so 10. It's a 10
so it's a 10 plate clutch plate. It's a Datsun Motorsport clutch set, 10 plate clutch. So the 5 plates in them were a little worn out, so they replaced them. He gave it back to me in 48 hours and said, you're good to go. He gave me the right oil that I needed. We packed everything and we were ready to come back for the weekend for the race. We got to the airport in Dubai, went to check in, and we weren't allowed to check in this box that was 50 kilos big. And we were surprised because we took it from Bombay to there and it was loaded onto the same airline that we flew, and we were flying back the same airline, and they were like, no, the labor laws and
you can go but not come back.
Yeah, it was like internationally it's 32 kgs, which I was aware of, but I was like, because this is a box, maybe they're cool about it and stuff. But they didn't let us load it in Dubai, so Hormaz and me opened it all up at the airport, dismantled it. We tried finding bags to actually pack it in separate bags and take it, but unfortunately duty free just had soft bags and no hard case bags.
And damaged the solenoid, so we didn't.
Yeah. So Hormaz said there's no way we're taking a chance, and that was the end of our dream of reaching Bombay on Thursday, getting the car ready on Friday and going to the race on Saturday. Now, we're really disappointed. I sent the gearbox back to Alpha Logic. We got on the flight, we flew back. We landed and we got a message on Friday that the race is cancelled that Saturday. And I just called Hormaz and I was like, dude, the gods are with us. The race is cancelled. Rangham's not doing it this weekend. We've got 2 weeks more. Now let's get this gearbox here. When we landed back in Bombay at the airport, we were randomly, pulled out on the side by the customs officials and checked and stuff. And they were pretty convinced that me, homie, and another friend were carrying gold back from Dubai. And they kept checking us, checking our bags, like frisking us, checking us, and asking us, where's the gold, what's the gold? And we were pretty confused about this, like, why the hell are they checking us for gold? Like, we don't have anything on gold, we don't wear gold, nothing. And we got talking to the officials and we were explaining to them what we went to Dubai for, and we've got a race, and our transmission got left behind. Very randomly, there was an officer who walked in. He looked like a really young boy, and we thought he's another suspect they've got in. But he was hearing us, and then he asked me, what cars do you have and stuff? I've got a classic BMW. And I pounced at him asking him, is it an E36 or 46? And he said it was a 36. And we got talking. He was a young guy. He rally races. He used to race with Suzuki, with Maruti and stuff. And he's pretty enthusiastic about this. And we were talking, and then he kind of felt the same vibe as me, that it's difficult to get our parts and how we suffer for the race when we need a part urgently and stuff. Then I told him that,
He felt you, like.
yeah, like he felt me, man. And I explained to him how this box wasn't loaded because of the weight and stuff, and how my staff is gonna get it back and stuff like that. And he really felt us, then he understood that we aren't gold smugglers. And we were just boys, like, trying to build our race car. And then we got out. Friday got news, no race.
Maybe they stopped because you have a heart of gold.
Maybe they did. Maybe they sensed that. So yeah, then on Monday or Tuesday the following week, a friend of mine from Dubai, Fahad, he was really kind and he offered to send his staff down with my parts personally and, get it done for me. And yep, he got it sent to me, we got it to the workshop, we got it all set up. Got a confirmation from Malcolm that everything's fine with the car. We tried getting Rob to tune the car, but really couldn't get him on because he was busy in America. And that's when I asked Malcolm that this car's not boosting and stuff. And he showed me how to change the maps.
Yeah, but
finally.
That's when we were in Dubai, sitting in one of those cars.
Yeah. This is how you change it, and he told me how to change it. And once the clutch was on and the transfer case was on, and we went and changed the map to map 9, as they call it, the Godzilla map.
What map was it on before?
It was on 0 on valet mode.
Oh my god.
So we had no boost. We were valeting around the city like valets. We went in Nasik in valet mode.
Absolutely.
And we thought we were driving one of the fastest cars. Yep, so coming back, we drove the car. Hormaz and I felt the boost. She was like redlining at 11,000 and we couldn't understand what's going on. Yeah, she's redlining at 11,000 and we couldn't understand what's going on with this car. And
you did a break-in drive as well, right?
yeah, we did one break-in drive. We did a drive to Pune and back, and then we gave her a run. And then came the race, and Hormaz told me that, we got to get Cup 2s or we got to get some Toyos and stuff on the car. Dude, I just went through this whole trip to Dubai, the expense on the car and stuff. And I told Hormaz, I said, you know what, let's just go. We've got our PS4S on the car, they're pretty new. And I said, let's go give it the beans. Let's see how she does.
Yeah, let's see what she does.
And let's take it from there. Yeah, let's take it from there. So that's how we got to the races and stuff. We did 3 practice runs. We did 11.8 first. Then we did some tire pressure adjustments. Then I juiced her a little more at launch. We got her 11.6. Then I gave her another run. We hit her at 11.08 or 01 or something like that.
11.0 something.
Then we had 3 final runs. That's when I told Homie, I said, now let's really give her the beans. Let's see what she can do in these 3 runs now. So we've already done 3 practice runs, back-to-back launch control. Car's done well, temperatures are low, she's not heating up. I was pretty impressed.
Your water temps are like 80 or something.
Yeah, my temps were at 80. My engine, water and transmission were like in the low 80s. And then we did our first run at 10.541.
A beautiful launch there from Imran. Let's look at the times.
And we're pretty impressed, we're pretty happy. We did 2 more runs, we did another run at 10.7 then.
There she goes.
And then we did 10.6. So we were pretty happy that we were being consistent in these mid-10s, the late 10s was fine.
Yeah, the car was at least running healthy.
Yeah, and this was the first time that we saw this car doing 10s. Everyone was happy. The whole circuit in Bombay was really happy. Everyone who's been seeing this car for the past 12, 13, 14 years in the city, were really happy that the car did well,
Not only that, there was a lot of dust on the track too.
Yeah, there was a lot of dust. There was barely any traction, but she performed really well with a 10.5, 7 and 6. We had a good time at the event. We had all our friends there with us. Then post that, the following weekend, there was the race in Hosur at the Taneja airstrip. Friends of ours from there invited us for this event. I made plans with Hormaz, Cami, Keki, all of us to go to this race. And just about 2 days before I was leaving, we had to meet with deadlines to deliver very special friends Impala to him for his dad. It was a gift to his dad. So the whole team decided to stay back in Bombay, complete the car, and go on to deliver that car in time and perfect it and hand it over. So I went over to Bangalore with Mikhail and another friend of mine, Mehfooz. 3 of us drove down in the Skoda. We went down there. I was pretty disappointed that I was going alone. But again, it was the first drag for me in Bangalore ever. And I was damn happy. So I went down. We reached on a Thursday night. Friday, we unloaded the car. I took her out to E-Tuners, got her washed, went with Yajur for a spin. And then the night I was going out for dinner with Shana, and we went to eat dinner, so we went out in the GTR because I really wanted to take her for a drive in it. We enjoyed dinner and stuff, and then Shana and I went out for a drive. She took me for a drive and she takes me to this certain area in Bangalore and says, you know, the tarmac here is like a racetrack. She was like a navigator, probably at Kethau or at the Himalayan rally or, you know, the desert storm. She knew every bump, every ripple, every speed breaker, every air hump. She knew it all. She knew the dips in the roads. So I was pretty unsure whether I should just follow her directions and juice the car here. But I judged her for about 500, 700 meters and she was spot on. And then we started juicing the car and I enjoyed the car for about 6 to 7 minutes. I've probably never felt the car that way ever, because it had the twisties, it had the bends, it had a 90-degree turn, a left-hander, and that car was like going crazy on that road. And then we went over these speed rumblers, like not exactly speed rumblers, like those reflectors, the white strips, you know. I was in third gear, I was on the throttle, and suddenly I felt my car like just rev and it was like a neutral. So I came back to second, I felt she was moving again, got her back to third, she moved back to fourth, and then I thought that there's something going wrong electronically. So I pulled over, shut the car, let it cool down for about 4 or 5 minutes, started it again. And I tried putting her in a gear, but I would rev her and she was just revving and she wouldn't move. And Shana looked at me and she was like, you know, babe, I don't know why we did this, and you've got a race day after, and what's gonna happen? And then she immediately organized a flatbed. I called for the car to the hotel and I was in a dilemma. I called homie up and I told him this is what I'm going through. And I immediately called Malcolm in Dubai, spoke to him, told him the symptoms. He was pretty sure that it was the clutch basket that's broken, you know, and stuff like that. So he asked me to
He wasn't surprised when he told him, right?
Yeah, no, so he was pretty cool about it, and he said this is normally the clutch basket that goes, and it's probably from a certain batch that had a defect in it, but I think that's what it is, I'm 99% sure. Yeah, and I still didn't feel that it was just the basket, and I thought it was a lot more. So in the morning we logged the car, we gave him the logs, and again he said it's the basket, I'm sure. Now the only option I had was to get another Datsun Motorsport clutch basket. So once again I called up another friend of ours in Bangalore itself, and he does a lot of GTRs, and I asked him if he had one lying, since, you know, he builds quite a few of them. Unfortunately, he didn't have a basket lying with him, and he said it would take about 15 days to come and stuff like that. So Malcolm called me up and said they had an upgraded billet clutch basket ready with them, but how do we get it down here within like 12 hours, you know, to get it and fit it on? I put out a message on Instagram and I sent it out to everyone, asking anyone if they knew anyone flying from Dubai to Bombay and stuff like that. And again, in an hour, a very, very close friend of mine in Bangalore, Mustafa, called me up, said I can help you out with someone who's coming back in 2 days, but we could fly him down tonight if we buy him a fresh ticket, and he'll come, because to change his ticket is going to cost him money, and he's getting a zero refund on his ticket if he cancels it. So I called up Malcolm and I was like, Malcolm, now this is the situation. I've got someone, I got to get them on a flight and they're going to come. So first we tried flying flights directly from Dubai to Bangalore. We couldn't find anything. There were no seats available in Emirates. So we booked a flight from Dubai to Oman and Oman to Bangalore. And now this guy was going to land in Bangalore at about 10:30 in the morning. Now he'd land at 10:30, by the time he'd get out it would be 11:15, 11:30. The airport is about an hour away from the workshop. We'd only reach at 12:30. By the time we fixed it, it would be 3:30, 4. event over by 5. The event was 2.5 hours away. Again, my hopes crashed, but I was like, okay, whatever, let's give it our best. 45 minutes later, another friend called me and found a seat for this person on an Emirates flight directly Dubai, Bangalore. Flight would land in Bangalore at 3:34, and he would give me the part at 4:30 in the morning, and we'd get the car ready for the morning. So yeah, we booked a ticket, called up Malcolm. Malcolm was really kind because this person was at the other end of the city in Dubai. There was barely any time for him to get to the airport in Dubai, and Malcolm sent the driver down from Alpha Logic to go deliver the part to this person. This person goes to the airport, gets on the flight, comes down to Bangalore. I'm at the airport with Mikhail and Mahfouz at 3:30. I'm waiting to get this part. He lands at 3:30, calls me, he says I'm coming out, and it's a really small part, and barely weighed 800 grams, and I was hoping he'd just walk out fast. But unfortunately, again, 25 of these passengers were suspected, detained for this gold smuggling checking, and they took 3 hours with him to, get him out of the airport, because they kept checking him and they were convinced that this Datsun Motorsport part is gold and it's just covered, and they kept scanning it and checking it and checking it, and then they went online and checked. Luckily, the Datsun website was on it. And they checked and they were like, fine, it's a motorsport part, and they let it out and stuff. I eventually got the part at about 8:45 in the morning.
You were at the airport for 4 hours.
Yeah, I waited at the airport for 4 hours. At the workshop back at eTuners, Yajur set up his whole team.
So this is 8 o'clock on Saturday.
This is 8:30 Saturday night. Yajur's boys, along with Birain from N1 Racing, Nikunj from Nick Trans Motorsport. These three guys actually stood, got the staff to completely get the whole rear section down, the whole transmission, the complete subframe, everything was out. So at about 11:30, 12, they had all this out. I see this all out and I'm like, shit, this is like a big job and it's gonna take a while to go back in. I was at the airport waiting morning. Birain keeps calling me. They're all at the workshop waiting all night, thinking I'll be back in like 2 hours or 1 hour from the airport. And he keeps calling me and asking me, what's happening? And I'm like, oh, this passenger's not come out. This guy's staff is not out. And he's gonna come and blah, 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 blah. That's the dilemma we were in, and Birain, Nikunj, Yajur's staff all waited at eTuners, Bangalore, waiting for me to come with the part. I drove over to the workshop, gave them the part. Birain was so sweet. He was like, you don't worry, you go back to the hotel now, get ready, change, get rest for about 2 hours. You've got a race, we need you fresh, we'll get the car ready. I went back to the hotel. I changed and stuff. There was no way I would get sleep. I came back to the workshop. They were working on the car. Birain insisted I go to sleep, so I went into the Skoda. I passed out for about an hour and a half. They woke me up when the car was ready, and when I woke up in an hour and a half, at about 11:30, and I saw my car roll out of the bay, you have no idea. I was super, super, super excited to see three teams, eTuners, N1, and Nick Trans. These three are great friends of mine. But we all compete at races, we're all doing builds, we help each other doing the builds, no doubt. But this was something really, really touching for me. It was very emotional for me seeing three other workshops, working all night, literally putting me to sleep, making sure I rest, getting the car ready, waking me up when it's just ready to leave straight for the venue to go. I was just overwhelmed, and I just got into the car, I left from there.
This is Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, 11:30, 11:45, I've left eTuners, gone, done the alignment. I finished alignment at 12:30, and I've got to drive to Taneja, which is 2.5 hours away from Bangalore City. So I'm aiming to reach Taneja by about 3 o'clock, and they tell me this event's going to shut at 5:30. So I need to be there by 3, do my runs and stuff, hoping I'd be there in time for the practices and stuff. Anyways, I reached Taneja and we go line up. I was told that practice was from 9 o'clock to 1:30, and I'm here at 2:45, so I won't get practice. And again, I didn't want to act pricey there and be like, I've come from Bombay, or my car broke down and I need practice runs before I drive it and stuff. Because Malcolm told me, just drive her there, don't push her. Once you get there, we'd recalibrate the gearbox, do a gearbox learning, do a clutch learning on it and stuff. And then you've got to give me 1-2 logs of a practice run. So they said no practice runs. Malcolm and I got the gearbox clutch learning done. And Malcolm told me, you know, if it's really important for you to go and prove a point, give it your all in the first go, or, you know, let do one run. You've got 2 entries, do one run, come back, let's take a log, let's see what's happening, is everything set and stuff. So I went out, I gave it 11.7 first. I came back. A lot of people disappointed that, oh, the car at 11.7, blah, blah, blah. Came back, got some data logging. Again, reset the clutch. Everything was just setting in and stuff. Reset it. Went for the second run, did 11.442. And these were my 2 final runs. And there was a Cayenne Turbo 2022 Stage 2 that also ran in one of my categories. And he did a beautiful time of 11.401. And he officially was the fastest at the event as per the official times and as per the race event. And I was fine with it. I was really happy that the car ran. You know, we reached the race, we didn't load it and go back to Bombay without attending the event and stuff. And then I gave Malcolm another set of logs and he said, oh, you know, the event's over, can you ask them to give you a run or 2, you know, and let's just see the time she's doing. We obviously in very different weather conditions. It was 3 p.m. it was super hot. Even 4 p.m. was super hot. We had a lot of crosswind. We actually had a lot of headwind, not crosswind. We had a lot of headwind on us. I drove 2.5 hours to the event. My engine bay was heat soaked. My temperature, my transmission was running at about 98, 99. My engine temperatures were, oil temperatures were running at 94. Water temps were at about 95, 96. So the car was running super hot. But Malcolm now told me, you know, he said, go juice her a bit. Let's push her up to 7 psi of boost and your own PS4s. So just let's juice her a bit. And I requested them for a run called, like, under the name of an exhibition run. And Tariq Bhai was pretty kind and he said, yeah, sure, you know, you made the effort. We'll give you a run or 2, go for it. And that's when I did the 11.021 and clocked the fastest of the day there. And as per the weather and the altitude and sea level and humidity and everything, according to our logs, what we did 10.5 here was well equivalent to 11 there. So I knew my car was running fine. And I was super happy. And I just went, I hugged Birain and Shana was there, Nick was there, Yajur was there. We were really overwhelmed. The car ran well.
Shout out to Madhus too. You want to go to the last minute?
Yeah, Madhus did the last minute alignment. Like, he nailed it. They nailed it at that place. Like, it was amazing. Jayesh over there was amazing. Yeah, we were just overwhelmed that we did this and we clocked the fastest time at the end of the day. And yeah, the event was an amazing one called Vroom. We then left the event. I stayed back a night in Bangalore. Some of the boys who couldn't travel that far, 2.5 hours to come to Taneja, parents didn't allow them. They were studying. Some had work and other commitments. Wanted to really see the car in Bangalore. So we went over to E-Tuners and Yajur hosted all these boys over there and showcased the car to them and stuff. We had a nice time with them. And then I loaded the car, drove back to Bombay, and now I've like kind of parked her, letting her rest it out. Summer's coming, don't want to really push her in the summer, don't want to do any events right now in the heat. Coming down later this year, we really want to aim at set target. Let's not like, you know, jump the gun, make statements or anything, but we really want to push her because before I left Bangalore, I went on FRK and a normal pump gas, unleaded, no 97 available. I dynoed her on the all-wheel drive and she put out 971 to the crank. So with a
50 wheel.
About 850 wheel, yeah, but she's running a tune from 2018, not been reset to the weather, nothing.
She has to be tuned.
So now we know what she's about and she needs a retune. I'm really hoping that Khalifa convinces Rob to give us some of their time And Rob takes out some time to tune it. Else we've got to really talk to them and work something out and, you know, go further with this tune because I really need to tune her now for November, December, Jan, Feb. We're aiming at these 4 months, or 2 months of 2022 in the end and the 2 months for 2023 where we want to really achieve, and we've set some goals we want to really achieve with her. So yeah, that's what it is. And I again want to thank all these boys, Yajur, Birain, Nick, Malcolm, Khalifa, all these guys for the last minute help in Bangalore, and of course everyone at Kickshift for really standing by me at the Bombay event, prepping the car before the event, taking care of her post the event before she went to Bangalore. Homie's really slogged it with this car. He's really been, like, he's traveled with me up and down. He's worked in the car himself personally. It's honestly the spirit of racing that got everyone together to get this car to run, to do what she does. And I'm really grateful that I've got these friends who I call family, and you know, they're part of me, and we have one goal and we're all like driving to that goal together, and that's what it's about. Like when I say the dream only works when the team works, and we're blessed to have that team with us. And we have Santosh always egging us on and pushing us to go wild, and he's always there to cover us and, you know, to really motivate us to push harder. And our man Roel he's always behind the camera, but he's always sitting with me and he's always having fun in the car. And that's fun. And now it's time you join the cartel and give us a story from you. I know a lot of people who've got a lot of money, they've set up cars, but it doesn't happen alone. And
yeah, India's like 10-15 years behind.
Yeah, and
just because no one wants to help each other.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and money can't buy you speed, I'll tell you that, and buy you this kind of professionalism and precision in a build. It's a lot of team effort, it's a lot of dedication and a lot of love for this that goes in. So yep, thank you so much for watching us and enjoying our story, and we shall come back with some more for you.
Come back into the minds.
Again, now he wants to make a statement, but no, we just see where it goes.
Yeah, let's see what the car can do.